We rolling? Hey everybody, David Barrett here for our third episode for the YouTube channel and the podcast called Music and Movies and Moving Music. And here we celebrate great memories with different guests about their favorite concerts, their favorite actors, their favorite movies, really the great escape of entertainment. And we're here with Spence, who's a Bay Area guy who spent some time in Detroit, and we're going to cover his musical journey along the way. So, how long you been in the Bay Area?
Since 1986.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, young cat.
It's definitely been a musical journey just in the Bay Area, right? Because a lot of Metallica and Tupac and a lot of different kinds of people have came through and left their imprint, right? And so I guess I've always kind of tried to listen to whatever was out there, even on the radio back in the 90s too, so.
That's great. We could already tell his musical taste is very eclectic and diverse, from Tupac to Metallica. A lot of great Bay Area artists. Rest in peace to Greg Jacobs, aka Shock G, Humpty Hump from Digital Underground, another Bay Area legend, along with Pac, who used to be in Digital Underground, and Metallica, even though they're originally from LA, really Bay Area based, and just spawned 1,000 other bands, from Forbidden and Testament to Exodus and Violence from the Bay Area. So we're big thrash metal fans here, and the Bay Area is a great place, man. I mean, so many great bands from the Bay Area: Tower of Power, In Vogue, Tony, Primus, Faith No More. Yeah,
there's so many different kinds of music, so many different variations of the different genres, different kinds of punk rock, right?
Yeah.
Different kinds of so it's after a while you kind of just check out, right? When it comes to, you'll never see all the bands, and you'll never hear all the the new names that are just, they've been around the whole time and you've just been so preoccupied with others, or there's just 100 new names.
What about outside the Bay Area? I know you had mentioned Peter Murphy and Bauhaus, because I do want to mention that Spencer here is he's an artist as well. He played me a few tracks. He doesn't have anything to go to online, but it should be very anticipating to get to that point, to hear what he's doing, because so the way I would describe it is it's electronic based music, but his vocals are very deep and brooding and haunting, and it's a very Gothic, not to limit it to, but Gothic industrial.
Right.
What inspires you to do the music that you do?
Well, that's, I remember you asked me that a different time, and that's a hard one to answer, because all the stuff, it's all the shit put together, right? It's if you have a little bit of a little bit of Gucci Man, right? A little bit of Juicy J, right?
Who are these rap artists?
Yeah.
Artists? Okay.
Right, and so then, but in comparison, then you have Tom Waits and Leonard Cohen.
Wow.
Right.
Listen to this guy. He's all over the map, and
but then you also have Peter
wow.
Murphy,
yeah.
and I wasn't able to use my mind last time. What was
weren't there
guy?
some new metal bands you were mentioning too? I don't know if it was Disturbed or something else.
Yeah, and I've heard a few. Then there was there was Ministry, and then there was but I mean, even then, what was that guy's name, man? The Martian guy. The guy that had the song about being a Martian.
We'll go back to that, and what about? Let's go into what concerts, what live concerts, bands, or solo artists have you seen in your young years?
Yeah.
What bands have you seen in concert that have just make you the artist you are today? You know.
Well, you know, it's like, I hate to say it, but we were so poor at a.
We know shows can be really expensive. And
yeah, we
to keep up with 1 or 10, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
so.
we mostly went to house venues.
Yeah.
In the neighborhoods, right? And man, there's this one house. I'm sure some people remember.
Like house parties with bands playing at the house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's this one house called the Pink String. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it used to be over there in the lower bottoms.
Okay.
And so there's a bunch of houses like this that, and even back earlier before that, you know, it was like warehouses and like the Victory. I don't know if you've ever been to the Victory.
Wow.
They actually shut it down. Yeah, no.
This is the real underground, because bands that perform, say it on backyard parties like Hank's Barbecue with Manny Lopez, and the Pussy Palace in Oakland that has bands play on a stage in the backyard, and these house parties. We also have to mention that, you know, Exodus from the Bay Area, they're known for starting at playing house parties before they even went to Ruthie's Inn to play at the clubs. And I wanted to mention too that Spencer and I met at Revolution Cafe in West Oakland, which, if anybody sees this and visiting the Bay Area or lives here and doesn't know about it, very close to West Oakland BART and West Oakland Post Office. Revolution Cafe, they have a sweet deal of pay $5 at the door, you get all the beer you can drink, and they're giving away joints, and they got live bands there. They have a patio where people go and socialize, smoke pot. So we're always trying to promote the clubs, and we met there, and a lot of good people go there, and they do shows, you know, mostly every weekend, every couple weekends, and it's a great place. So, you know, where do we go from here? So, influences, concerts. I don't know. You said you were in Detroit. Did you see anything, or do anything, or were you around anybody that inspired you? Because I know they had a big Detroit techno scene going on at the time.
Yeah. So that's kind of where, that's
about that.
Because before that, I was making some other kinds of experimental stuff before I went to Detroit. A lot of trap metal but no. So when I went to Detroit, and
what the hell's trap metal?
Trap metal is another really interesting kind of experimental.
It's like a subgenre of mixed genre type thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, trap metal was interesting to me because, and only, you know, I mean, I've seen some people do a really good job of it, and some people not do, just like any other combination of hip hop and rock and roll, right? Yeah. Like an old version would be like Body Count.
Okay.
Right, a newer version.
And Linkin Park would be
another one, right? But you know, I hate to say lousy, right? Because I know everyone has their own preference, but like, I know a lot of people are not a big fan of Limp Bizkit, because I'm not, you know, the biggest fan. But that was another, you know,
they're lumped into nu metal, but they could be rap rock.
Yeah, and that's really what. And so people were trying to do it, and some people did it good. But even then, it wasn't they were doing something wrong. Is that people just kind of got tired of hearing the same drums and the same kind of dooch.
And no matter how fresh something is in the beginning, if too many bands jump on board and it becomes a trend, it gets really played out.
It gets played out.
And so once it's overload and oversaturated, it's not as fresh as it once was, and so that way it could kill a scene and a genre shortly after it gets started. So, you know, we can definitely say that for sure on that.
And so it was a few things though that kind of brought me to making this music too, because there's still like a definite you know, like a Nine Inch Nail, like all the good '90s stuff, right? That my parents listened to a lot of different kinds of stuff. But yeah, when I got to Detroit, though, it was really like the Gothic castles, right?
Yeah.
And the Gothic churches and just the empty wasteland that, you know, it. You could call it a Detroit spirit, perhaps.
Huh.
Right? It has a special kind of spirit to it. And it's funny because my mom had already died before I moved out there, right? And so I don't know what you could even say. And then on top of that, it was like I was listening to this really interesting music from India also, right? And so when you know, it that made me also jump into another category, making more different kinds of music. And from doing all of that, I realized that yeah, combine all these different concepts and sounds, it just ended up being let's choose this genre in particular as a new way of combining all these other things into it, but also incorporating a new special level of darkness that I just stumbled upon, right? That I don't know, I feel like when it comes to music, right, it's like when warriors want to listen to warrior music, they go for a certain sound. When happy or sad people want to listen to sad music, they go for that sound, they try to make that sound. And I have a friend that makes really sad music, and it's so I can't stand it, right? I swear to God, I told him, right? And this is all subjective, though. Everyone's idea of what strength or weakness is,
Yeah.
right? But this was very.
Hey,
Looks like.
I'm gonna pause for just a second.
Pause, Barry.